Ralph Waldo Emerson, the American scholar. The American scholar was a speech or a lecture given by Ralph Waldo Emerson on August 31st, 1837, to the Phi Beta Kappa Society of Harvard College at the First Parish in Cambridge, Massachusetts. This literary society was founded in 1776 as a student association at William and Mary College, Virginia, in the USA. In imitation of this society, a number of student societies also crept up at nearly all American universities, including Harvard near Cambridge. Now, Phi Beta Kappa are three letters of the Greek alphabet, and it is like naming a society ABC. This society has annual meetings which have been the occasion for addresses from the most distinguished scholars and thinkers of the day. This lecture was earlier published as an essay entitled Man Thinking an Oration. Later, it was published in a book by Emerson entitled Nature, Addresses and Lectures. Emerson was invited to address the society in recognition of his famous work Nature, which was published an year earlier. Emerson said that even 60 years after the Declaration of American Independence, American culture was highly influenced by European culture. Emerson provided a visionary and philosophical framework and urged the American scholar to escape from this European influence and build a new, distinctly American and cultural identity. Emerson begins his lecture with greetings to the college president and members of the Phi Beta Kappa Society of Harvard College. He says that the annual beginning of the new session is filled with hope but lacks hard work. He says that there is a difference between this gathering and the athletic and dramatic contests of ancient Greece, the poetry contests of the Middle Ages, and the scientific academies of 19th century Europe. He points out that the time has now come when the American people should show independence in matters of literature. He declares that American intelligentsia will no longer depend for authority on its European past and put an end to that dependence and become independent. It will produce its own independent original works of literature and stop imitating others. American intelligentsia would use its own creative independence and end its dependence on scholars of other nations of the world. O. W. Holmes called this lecture, quote, our intellectual declaration of independence, unquote, or again, quote, the Declaration of Independence of American intellectual life, unquote. This lecture has also been called the first clarion of American literary renaissance by a critic. Emerson, in fact, urges the American intelligentsia to seek its creative inspirations using America as its source. He declares his theme as the American scholar and discusses the impact of the new changing times on the character and hopes of the American scholar. He relates to a fable and says that in the beginning there was only one man. Gods divided this one man into many men so that the society works more efficiently. This was similar to the division of hand into fingers for the sake of increasing the efficiency of the hand. Similarly, the society has been divided on the basis of functions like farmer, priest, statesman, scholar, etc. Each person does his own work or task, and so the society labors together. In the present times, every person has confined himself to his own work and does not think of the society as a whole. The fable also gives the moral that an individual, in order to possess himself or remain in an undivided state as a part of the man, he must return from his own individual labor and embrace the labor of other individuals. An individual can live in either of the two states. He can live in a busy, divided, or degenerate state and will not possess himself in this state. He will identify himself with his own occupation in this state. In the other, right state, he can elevate himself to man at one with all mankind. The original unit, the one man, has been so minutely subdivided that the different individuals cannot be gathered again to form a whole. The American scholar should become a man thinking rather than a mere thinker or one who copies other men's thinking. Emerson says that the scholar who should be man thinking has degraded himself into a mere thinker or imitator. In order to become a man thinking, a scholar should try to see the world with his own eyes and not be much influenced by traditional and historical views and ideas.